We're going to be doing the Barbie movie. That's right, the biggest film, box office-wise, from 2023.
Wait. Did you say the biggest film of 2023 was Barbie?
Box office-wise.
Yeah.
Not like best.
Yeah, but
But as
just
far as most money, yeah.
bringing in the most money.
1.45 billion at this point, and a little bit ahead of Super Mario Brothers
That's
movie.
so sad.
There's got to be a stronger word than sad. It's pathetic.
How revolting.
It was a difficult watch. You'll see.
Yes,
Brian
it
and I
was
had
hard
some
to get
real
there.
struggles with this one. But anyways, this real quick synopsis. Barbie lives in her perfect Barbie world with her Barbie friends until suddenly, out of the blue, she thinks about death. And that causes an existential crisis that leads her to visiting the real world and then returning to a very different Barbie world. There's the synopsis.
Yes.
So, Brian, were there some overall positives that you could take from this? Because we're obviously setting up that we didn't
Yes.
like this so
Yeah.
far. But
Yeah, there were some positives in the sense of the set designs, the nostalgia of the movie.
if you were somebody who grew up playing with this stuff,
yes,
the
right?
set design had to have been awesome. Like you're seeing that real life full size.
Well, for me as a boy, I played with Transformers a lot as a kid. So when the Transformers movie came out, those movies came out, I loved watching them because of the nostalgia. I played with that toy. I saw my characters come to life. And so I can get that. So for girls who played a lot with Barbies like this one, actually, this Barbie car belongs to my daughter, Macy.
Oh.
Yeah. It's actually remote control too. So it's a fun little car for her. She loves that. Shout out to Macy. And then the Ken and the Barbie in there belong to my mother-in-law. And then my wife played with them as a girl, and now my daughter plays with them. So cool things there. So positive connection of nostalgia for sure. And then some of the actors did a decent job on what they're doing, presenting their characters. And
Yeah,
there's
I
some
thought that-
satire that's engaging as
Yeah,
well.
I thought some of the main ones like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, they both did a really good job. Even Kate McKinnon, the Weird Barbie.
Yeah.
We saw her in the Ghostbusters, the female one that we did not like at all.
No.
But she actually did a good job in this. As Weird Barbie, she did a really good job.
Yeah.
And the film did address some things that need to be addressed. But
Of course,
not
what were the negatives?
everything else. Everything else.
I agree.
All right, well, we should probably get into the storyline, right? So in this, everything in Barbie Land is perfect, right?
Basically, right?
Yeah, every
Yeah.
night's girls' night, and the Kens are
Every night?
Every night.
What about the guys? What about the Kens?
Who cares? They're the
Exactly.
Kens, and
Yeah.
if the Barbies want to see them, okay, well, once in a
The
while.
Kens don't even have a house. They're homeless.
Where do I sleep? Outside!
Yeah,
Right.
right.
It's so sad.
It's so crazy. There's no romantic relationship between Barbie and Ken.
No.
There's that's very much out of the question. And one night, while dancing, Barbie suddenly thinks of death.
As one of
And it
one
just
to
kind of
do.
comes out of the blue. And so it leads to some funny stuff. You know how Barbies always have like the pointed toes? Well, the next morning she gets up, suddenly her heels touch the ground.
She starts becoming more real.
Yeah. And so she has to go visit Weird Barbie, and Weird Barbie tells her it's because she's got to go to the
The
real
fact
world.
that you're even saying this right now is cracking me up. Barbie visited Weird Barbie and then went to the real world.
Brian, tell the truth. It's because you were able to teach me all this before. Because,
Yes.
because your background in
you're
Barbie
wearing the
lore.
pink shirt.
Oh, that's true. Just for this episode. So the reason was her owner in the real world was having some of those thoughts. And so that intruded into the Barbie world. And so Barbie's got to go to the real world and kind of fix the relationship between the mom and the daughter. And
Because
then things-
Barbie thought the problem was with the daughter, she was her toy in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, though, actually the daughter's mom was playing with the toy, and it was her feelings that were being
Yes.
imposed on Barbie.
Yeah, and so Barbie asked this question of Weird Barbie. She said, why would she be sad? We fixed everything so that women in the real world can be happy and, what's the word?
Powerful.
Powerful.
I'm laughing because I'm just hearing us talk right now. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I'd be having this conversation,
With me.
I thought you were nuts.
Is it true that you're going to end up in a mental institution? Cuckoo's nest, cuckoo's nest.
I'm like, what are we even talking about right now? I'm sorry. Yes. But yeah, the big word is powerful.
Powerful.
Happy and powerful. Women must be powerful. And that's a constant theme throughout the entire movie,
It's really all about power to them.
which is feminism tends to be that way.
Yeah, so you have Barbie heading to the real world, and Ken hides in the back seat and surprises her. He's coming along. So we see Barbie and Ken in the real world, which can lead to some funny gags and stuff like that as they're getting different outfits and everything. But of course, the real world is run by
Men.
the patriarchy.
And Ken gets excited about that.
Yeah, and so Barbie, of course, they're there. People are immediately catcalling her. Ken is like, I feel like people see me, because he's never felt like he's
Because
been
in
seen.
Barbie land, the Kens aren't needed at all.
They're not respected.
Maybe they're talked to a little bit, but they're not needed,
No, there might be comic relief, maybe.
more or less.
Maybe you're the plucky comic relief. You ever think about that?
But now he feels respected, and she gets assaulted right away. Some guy comes and slaps her on the backside, and she turns around, punches him, and gets arrested. Which I think in most cases
That wouldn't happen.
She probably wouldn't get arrested for that. But anyway,
And the movie's painting a caricature of society to really kind of paint this picture of male dominance to make their point. And so it's definitely an exaggerated view. Not saying that bad things don't happen. Of course they do. And there are problems, of course, but they really exaggerate it to try to drive home what their own agenda and their own ideology.
Yeah, and so what we see as we lead into the next clip here, Ken is feeling empowered for the first time, and Barbie is feeling anxious for the first time, and she's confused as to why it's so different. And so they get to this school where they're going to find the daughter of the mom, and here's a glimpse of what happens right before they find the daughter, before Barbie finds the daughter.
Look, Davy Crockett Junior High School, just like I saw in my vision.
A man and a horse.
I've started to get all these weirdo feelings, like I have fear with no specific object. What is that?
It's anxiety. I have it too. They're just awful at this age.
I feel amazing.
That's because kids don't take it out on the dads.
She's gotta be here.
So the one constant theme throughout this movie, and that they push over and over again, and it builds and builds and builds up to this long rant about
And the
how
climax of the movie.
Yeah, it's so much harder to be a woman.
Yep.
And that's what we see over and over and over again pushed in this. And we could probably spend the rest of our time, and more, if we could make this a super long episode, talking all about how it's harder to be a man. But what would that accomplish? Because I think that's what they want. They want to create conflict, and that's really what like the neo-Marxist worldview. They want to create as much conflict as possible. You separate people by their sex, you separate them by their skin color, you separate them by their beliefs, whatever it is, so you can create conflict and drama and get people, against each other. So let's not play that game.
Well, and according to the Marxist worldview, one of the main oppressors in a culture is the family unit, because it entrenches all these bad traditions that suppresses your innate desires and who you truly are. So you got to blow up the family unit. Well, how best to do that? Well, if you can have the men and the women combating each other with these different ideals, and they're fighting for power to be the powerful one, that can cause conflict, division, destroy the family unit. And so part of the Marxist ideology is to get rid of the family unit by causing this division. So you can see that kind of play out in a particular way in the movie.
Yeah, and the reality is, it's difficult to be human, because we're sinners living in a sin-cursed world.
Especially being close to Tim. It's hard
to keep from sinning.
Sometimes I want to take your big, dummy head and just...
Because he just is so punchable. Not right.
No, but you're right. It is hard to be human, because we all have a sinful flesh.
Right.
And we all want...
And we all live around other sinners.
We do, right? And so we recognize there's a reality. And of course, in our sinful flesh, we compare ourselves to other people. We'll talk more about that later.
And we always think the grass is greener, so we've got to have it the hardest, right?
Yeah.
So really, the key is stop blaming everybody else, and you got to look to Christ and live for Him.